Welcome back to Irreplaceable. I'm Justine and I'm here with Joe.
Hi.
And today we are interviewing Chris Barnes, who is a career coach and recruiter, talking to us today about the future of work. So Chris, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, for sure. So I pretty much built what I do brick by brick. I'm very faith-based. And I essentially just did a lot of nonprofit work, volunteer work. And then I kind of kept getting in leadership. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I could do more. So I started teaching English. Somehow I got a lot of business clients. I was helping with like public speaking and things like that. That turned into career coaching. And now career coaching has turned into recruiting. And now I'm a recruiter, career coach, and I get to, help people get jobs. It's amazing.
I was talking to somebody today about AI and jobs, and it was interesting, because the thought is AI is going to kill jobs, right? But like, what kind of jobs could it create? And I feel like AI should just be able to say, oh, here's you. This is the exact job for you. More like a purpose thing.
A lot of people say that things are going to go that way, more like eventually at some point like a utopian kind of
that would be nice.
Society-ish, where you could kind of do whatever you were meant to do or whatever you want to do. We could do what we're meant to do because we have that much cushion, right? Like we're able to get resources faster, technology is able to develop faster, sustainability. So the environmental factors definitely do scare me.
What it takes for AI?
Yeah, for AI, a lot of things, crypto, AI.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of resources. But then again, Elon is taking us to the stars. So we'll pull some extra resources from somewhere else, right? So, so in that world with unlimited resources, kind of have almost utopian society, right? Why go to war? Why does Russia need to attack Ukraine?
Why work?
Yeah, why work unless you
choose
to write what you want to do.
How about having people use AI to tailor their resumes for jobs? What do you encourage that?
You can use AI to tailor it for sure, 100%. However, number one is that I wouldn't use AI to create your whole resume because I think you need that human perspective.
Yeah,
I had a client. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't understand why my resume is not working." Oh, I'm like, he's like super big AI guy. He's like, I don't understand. I'm like, man, I'm thinking, what could it be? What could be wrong with your resume? And I look at it and I'm like, oh, because it looks really bad. I think the visual is really important. And then number two, it wasn't really written out that well either. So I don't know. I think now I do use AI to change the resumes, to update the resumes. But to just get AI to do it yourself, depends what you're doing too. Some jobs, if you're a registered nurse, you could probably just use AI to slap it together. If you want to be director of product management, AI may not be the best thing either.
In my own job search over the past year, what I'll do, you saw how much of myself is put into my personal account, and I will take a job description and first say, am I a good fit for this job? And here's the job description. And it'll be like strong, medium, here's the weaknesses, things like that. Do you use it at all in that way?
You can use AI that way. I think that sometimes it still won't work no matter what.
Yeah.
Depending on some job descriptions are not written well. Sometimes they don't know who they want to hire. I think definitely putting it into AI and comparing your resume, saying, hey, do I line up? I think it is a good idea, but sometimes your resume will lack that je ne sais quoi. AI will tell you that there is a 80% match, right? But then you don't realize that 20% is like really important.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like you need like a really human touch.
That's kind of the theme of our show is that humans are irreplaceable. And it sounds like you've got insight that it's definitely missing right now in its current state. So.
And there's, I think, the over-reliance a little bit too, and when we ask AI if this is a good fit or whatever, like we're not necessarily listening to that gut feeling of like, you know, sometimes I look at a job position for some sort of freelance gig or something, and it may not be entirely related to my resumes at all, but there's just something about it that resonates, how they wrote it, or what was some language they chose that I'm like, you know what, I could just make a good case for this. And an AI wouldn't know that based on my own resume. It would just know that based on my feelings. And similarly with the opposite is like sometimes it says that I'm like a really good fit for something and I'm like, no. Pass.
And sometimes it's the organization that it is that you'd be joining. It's like that's what I like. You know, 10 years ago, I got into a new career, and it was the position itself. I was like, it was sales, and I'd never done sales in my life, but that was my ticket into this this company and this field was through sales. I got okay at it. Maybe a little better than average.
But it needed some know-how too, right? It wasn't just sales. It's like you needed the know-how as well. Right?
For sure.
You know, when you have this human that's curious, that's proactive, that's a problem solver, they're channeling these positive things that people think typically AI kills, and they're kind of channeling it into AI, right? So,
what would you say is your main use for it as either a recruiter or a coach?
I was thinking of it. You really made me think before this podcast episode. AI is great for my personal life, and I'm assuming anyone's personal life. AI is like, I was thinking like, I think AI is more beneficial for my personal life than work, because I think we all are, we see some tree, or we go to the store and you're like, man, I saw something. I went through like dozens of things on Amazon. There was like one thing I saw, I didn't know like what I should use it for. And then you ask AI, like, what do people use it for? And all those little questions that you kind of like forget, AI helps you answer them. One time I used AI to like help me shop. So like it would be a shopping assistant because it had the measurements for the bag, and I said, well, what can I put in a bag with this measurement? And then it told me like, oh yeah, you can put this in there, you can put that in there, and I was like, oh. So I was able to get like a visual picture of what I can put in that bag I was interested in buying. I think it's underrated for the people's personal lives. You use it to cook. It's really good for cooking.
Yeah, great.
So like how about for you guys, like in your personal life, how does AI we don't have to get too personal, but
well,
like would
good.
you say like, well, yeah, we don't have to get too personal here.
If I die, delete my history.
But like for you guys, like would you say AI has a bigger impact on your personal life or on your professional life?
I mean, I'm probably not a great example because I'm somebody that doesn't have perfect boundaries associated with work and life. So
same.
It's just like throughout the day, no matter what I'm doing, boom, 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 I'm hitting AI. So my son actually like logged into my account because he uses my ChatGPT. And he was like, yeah, mom uses it for everything. And so whether it's home or work, it doesn't matter what, it's just an extension, makes everything faster.
Exactly. It's an extension, and I loved what you were saying about like what you have and curiosity. You were talking about the measurements, or you see something and you don't know what it is and you want to find out more. It's like you're talking about curiosity, and I think that's a really important thing. So much of the human element, the real fundamental things, it allows you to leverage that, and like you said, some people don't have a lot to leverage. It's like they're just maybe they're aggressive, and they have a lot of chaos in their life, and they approach the AI and they're like, well, this is stupid. It's like, well, it's kind of just a mirror, really, in a lot of cases.
Mirror, wow.
So
Whoa, that was a really strong statement.
Yeah.
You said it's a mirror. I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
It is like a mirror, which is kind of scary.
Well, sometimes it shows things that you can't see in the mirror. I've got some insight out of it that I wouldn't have gotten out of. I don't know if I had maybe like a trusted confidant or person I talked to, whomever, pastor, therapist. I don't know if they would be able to pluck these memories out as accurately and say, remember when this happened? And you're like, and they're like, that's why this is happening. Like, whoa, like really like deep stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that's interesting, right? So I'm a career coach, just so you guys know. I'm a career coach. I'm a career coach. I'm also a recruiter. And so as a career coach, sometimes I do have to play therapist a little bit.
Sure.
And then even as a recruiter too, you kind of got to play, because sometimes you're on the phone with someone and sometimes they're mentioning stuff and you're like, you really have to know how to talk to people, navigate people.
Yeah.
But I think in very short, number one, as a coach, a big thing is like helping clients do a SWOT analysis, and then also personality assessment, and then playing with AI with that. And then so pinpointing those weaknesses, those strengths, those opportunities, researching okay, what type of job she'd be going for, what type of company, and different things like that. So that's a big, I use AI a lot. That's really particularly like ChatGPT, for example. And then another way that I use it as a career coach is that using it to write posts, write comments. I'm helping my clients write posts and write comments, write DMs. So I pretty much have these folders. I have that I call what do you call them, projects on ChatGPT, like DM bot, comment bot, post bot. And then I kind of have a database of how I've helped my clients. Posts that have gotten them noticed by companies, DMs that have gotten them, helped them get interviews, emails, okay, they landed this job, they wrote this type of email, boom, I put that in there.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then, so I kind of create a brain for my clients to pull from as a blueprint.
Oh, that's
and
really
so they don't have to, right? And then, so that's one way in which I use
I would love to see
AI.
an annual analysis of all the trends based on this type of email is going to get you this type of response. That would be so insightful.
Yeah, definitely. So for sure. So that's something that I'm actually trying to figure out with ChatGPT. I use specifically ChatGPT. I'm thinking about switching to Gemini. But that is something, because I think I do need to keep track of my posts and which ones work and the evolution. And I wish ChatGPT was able to just do it on its own.
No, I think you can tell it this one bombed, this one was great. I've told it things in more of a plain language than most people know is really possible. Like I'd send it emojis or a picture, like a picture, like this is how I feel, about this. I think we're really just scratching the surface of what's possible. But I really like how you're thinking about leveraging the human success that you've had, and how can you build on that kind of thing?
Yeah. It's just naturally kind of happened. And thanks for pointing out the fact that AI is not the problem, I'm the problem. Like, I'm just disorganized. Like, I just don't keep track of stuff. I just need to, like, tell ChatGPT, like, okay, report back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for pointing that out.
Well, we were talking about, I don't know, like on one of our walks, is that people who may not be used to having subordinates aren't able to use AI as well, or if they just are not great managers, they it's like, here's your job and I'm going to yell at you if you're bad at it. Like it's not much of a leader. But you were talking about mentoring. It's I kind of see it working better if you approach it like that. But for me, it like if I'm careful and like detailed, and because I miss stuff putting it in there like all the time. I'm like, why is it giving me all this garbage back? And it's because I'm putting garbage in it. It's like I'm tired. I'm not focused. I'm not giving it what it needs to like really give me good answers.
I'm going to mention a couple things as a coach, like for anyone that's watching this. Job search essentially, I think, is preparation and research. Like, people don't research industries enough. They don't research trends enough. They don't research the role enough. They don't research the team enough. They don't research the hiring manager enough, right? They're not researching the possible jobs, right? Like, so for example, like I focus on like Black professionals, right? Specifically Black men. Microsoft is super famous, especially for Black employees. And Google's pretty good too. But it's like every Black person wants to work at Microsoft. But it's like all Black people cannot work at Microsoft. But there's a whole bunch there's like hundreds of other companies that they don't know about, where they can fit inside of them. So like, for example, like one client recently, like, so we'll look up, like, we do super deep research. I mean, we're talking about like, all this stuff is like hours of research. We're looking up, like, for example, you could say, show me top companies. For example, I have a client that's an engineering manager, or like a lead anyway, but whatever, we'll say engineering manager. Show me top companies for mechanical design engineer that offer remote work. Boom, and it'll rank all the companies, and it's really hard to decide. It's like, this is what, and it pulls out all this information, creates a profile for each company, and you say, dig deeper, give me more, anything in my area, and then you create like a priority list, right? And then you want to focus on those companies. So that's a way, like, I use AI to like help my clients. And then, right, you could do more research on the companies and different things like that. Like, they say you don't know what you don't know. And then AI is just a way to know. Like, I know the top 10 companies for Black engineers in the United States. But, mechanical engineers, but it took research. Like, you had to really like dig, and then you kind of have to analyze what, chat is giving you, because sometimes chat gives you trash. like it takes hours. Like sometimes sometimes like an hour later, like, oh, I finally found what I was looking for. But it's worth it, I think it's really worth it. Yeah. So that's just one way. and it's interesting, like, so I had one client, she was basically like in biotech, like a director level. I think she's like kind of feeling like a senior manager role at that time, but kind of like director level person. And she's like, wow, like after our sessions, she's like, I'm using AI so much more now. I think I open up their minds a little bit towards that. Like, we're using it for job search stuff, but then they take it and they kind of like keep continuing to use it, which is really cool.
And you talk about like people at those levels, they might not, they got there generally without AI, and they aren't necessarily, thinking that there's something else that's going to help them more, because they're like, hey, I'm the director already. Like, I didn't use AI to get here. But then when they see like how much they can leverage all that experience and knowledge that they have, it's really eye-opening.
And I think as an entrepreneur, I'm a little bit more open to trying new things as opposed to being in a corporate environment, right? And so I'm kind of trying to help them break that mold. And that's actually how I promote my services. I'm like, hey, we're trying to get out of the corporate ladder and build your own ladder, which that's kind of, I think that I definitely am helping people do that. Like, it's sometimes like mind blowing. Like, this guy's like older than me because I'm 31. This guy's like 10 years older than me, 15 years older than me. And it's like, they're learning from me. Yeah. And like, I'm helping them. Like,
some of the best bosses I've had were 20 years younger than me. So I don't see it like that anymore. I used to when they were always 20 years older than me. I always thought, but now I'm like, there's so much more to the world than there used to be, and younger people have more of an insight of what that is than people who are building their life off of this old model.
I think there's a lot of mentoring that could go on both ways, right? I think we're definitely seeing that as, I'm a millennial, I'm not trying to talk bad about the Gen Zs, but I'm just saying that I think, you see that there's a lot
of... Are you millennial at 31? I don't know.
I think so. I was 1994, so I was like kind of raised in the 2000s, pretty much, right? Early 2000s,
I don't know.
I don't know. We could use ChatGPT.
I'm Gen Z, by the way.
Let's
ask Chat.
We could ask.
Yeah, but, let's ask. Our guest is 31 years old, and he says he's a millennial. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that actually adds up. Millennials are generally considered to be born from the early 1980s to the mid 1990s. So if he's 31 now, that definitely puts him squarely in the millennial range. So yep, he's right on target with that.
Okay, well, what do I know? Oh, yeah?
I'm an elder millennial.
Yeah?
Early
nice.
1980s.
Nice.
I would have said a younger millennial.
So nice. Okay, I have a question. All right, so quick, bringing it back to like the extension of self aspect of it. So your faith is a big part of your practice. I'm really curious how you reconcile faith, technology, and career into one unified mission.
So that's a great question. So I think the thing about faith playing a role, so I do target, people of faith, particularly a lot of Christians when I'm doing my marketing. Even more recently, that's what I'm trying to focus on as far as my clientele. And, the thing is that people of faith at work, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes their motivations are different, right? So they're showing up at work, but sometimes their goal is not necessarily to like make a lot of money. Sometimes who doesn't want to make money, right? Like definitely like my clients want to make money. Yeah. But they also they
need a lot more of it these days, right?
Yeah, exactly. But they're really different like by purpose. They want to feel fulfilled. And they want to be around like-minded people, right? Because I'm really not a corporate type, and I think that they want someone who they feel like they can freely express themselves to, people, a lot of my clients feel disconnected at work, like they can't talk about other people. I think people want like like gratitude, like forgiveness. Like I feel like my clients feel like, like when I talk to them, it's like I'm really talking to them like they're like my brother or sister, like it's really like, like I'm pushing them, but like it's like they feel more, I think they just feel like more like they belong when they talk to me, right? And they're like, it's like, they're doing all this craziness at work and they come to me and they're like, Chris, like, here's what's going on. I'm like, look, I know it's tough. Like, and I'm like, I think that in general, I do empathize a lot with my clients. But before, I felt like people weren't appreciating the empathy or recognizing it, right? Whereas like these clients, I feel like they understand like my style more, like my empathy, and I think that a lot of times, we're leveraging, so your question, right? So faith, career. Right? They want to build up their community. Their goal is that they feel like at their job, they're representing like a higher power, right? So that's like when they go into work, they're like, hey, I'm representing this higher power. They're like, I'm working for the man, but they're like, I'm really working for the man upstairs, right? The man. Yeah. I like that was
or the woman.
Or the woman, yeah. I think my clients who are Christian or see themselves as Christian or religious, I don't think that they're against technology at all. I think they embrace it. I think that there is a little bit of like, how do I incorporate it into my normal life? Like what you were saying. So, for example, like sometimes I'll look up scriptures for my clients and different things like that, or like tidbits of wisdom that I find for my clients, and I'll share it with them. And I can use AI to do that, to find that. So
like maybe what fits best with what they're going through.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I use AI to try to find something they're going through.
That's great.
And then it's kind of like, hey, like I can create my own I could create my work routine using AI, and I could create my spiritual routine, and then I can combine them as well. Like what you're saying, so it's really like intertwined more. So I think that's a big part, like using technology in that way with my clients. Like if you go into like a AI, right, or like an AI assistant, look up like what characters in the Bible were black, right? Or like, let's say like according to the Bible, were the Israelites black, right? And then it's going to pull up all this stuff, right? And it's going to be like all this research you can do, and you can use it. Like you can say like I read through the book of Proverbs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, right? And it's just like Proverbs, right? Like wise sayings. And you can take it. I did this with someone at my church, and I was like, man, you know what? You can go through Proverbs and say, hey, I'm struggling financially. What Proverbs, right, or scriptures or whatever, holy sayings can I use in order to, change my financial situation? And then you can say like, hey, how can I actually apply this in my life? So I think it also comes into like applying, like finding information, asking how to apply it in my life, how to reconcile it. So yeah, technology I think it's great spiritually. I think you can entwine it with your career. I do think that you do have that, to me, the biggest concern is like the environmental factor.
Yeah.
But you're an environmental guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like God's like, okay, like if I believe there's a higher power and he created this earth or this universe, and then I'm like, well, I don't know how that higher power would feel about me, not contribute to a cleaner, more sustainable,
being a good
earth.
Steward.
Yeah, exactly.
Creation.
Yeah, and I think that applies across religions.
Yeah,
right. I think if you're Buddhist, right, and to me that's always the biggest thing as someone who is, who believes in a higher power.
Yeah,
it's always like, to me, that environmental factor sometimes kicks in. And I actually heard someone at my church said that the other day. They're like, you use AI, and she was kind of kidding, but it actually came. I think she was kidding, but I think it came from a real place. Like,
yeah,
you use AI, like you're. I don't know what she said, but something about the environment, right?
Right.
And I was like, huh.
No, it's.
But I paid for the subscription.
That is a very common reason why people don't like AI is the environmental impact that it has. And we're going to do, I don't know how many episodes on what it is, how bad it actually is, how it can be overcome. It's like, okay, well, we use renewable energy to run the data centers, and there are efforts for that. The code rewrites itself enough that it's not so energy intensive to run these data centers, and it's going to be able to do that in like 5 minutes from now, and how much of it is I have to wonder if some of it maybe is disinformation, because people, you were talking about how much you can leverage it in your personal life. Maybe certain people don't want people's personal life or people to be empowered that much.
That's
that's
true. Yeah.
Because to me it feels like it does feel empowering, like the things that I can get it to do. But getting back to your part about faith, I think I really like how you're connecting, like, because we were talking about work and purpose and like being able to do something that you believe in, something that that at the end of the day, you don't go home and say, I'm not doing a good thing with this job. Like, I'm not helping people. I'm hurting people, or I'm hurting the environment, or whatever it is that that your faith says that what your purpose is in the world. And I think that speaks to work. And I think I see this once we overcome the engineering problems of AI being bad for the environment, then and it needs to happen. Of all people, I'm going to say that it does need to happen. But I think it will happen, and I think it will be able to empower people on an individual basis, like you were saying. But I love that connecting people's purpose to work and being able to help them find it through this tool.
One last question about faith before we get into your ideas about the future. So we asked this question of John Hunsberger, so I'm curious your opinions on this. Is there anything spiritual or godly about AI itself? Do you believe there's something in it that is communicating beyond just the code?
I think that the higher power there is so far ahead technologically, right? If you look at the sun and the stars or the animals in the systems and things like that. I think there's an existential thing a little bit with AI. I would definitely love to take all my grandmom's ideas and memories and opinions and feelings and thoughts and put them into an AI agent or bot or whatever. And which is kind of like you think of like recreating life in a way. The human brain is so amazing. And I think part of the issue is that as a humans, I think that we're not really unlocking a lot of our potential, like mentally. So I think that AI should push us to unlock more of that and kind of tap into that extra brain power that we have. That's a really good question. I think that because people also don't really fully understand AI, right? Like how it works, right? It almost seems like I'm not sure. I gotta think about that. But I gotta think about that. So the question is there something in AI that's like where you're communicating to like something else, right? Almost like AI is like a bridge we created, maybe to aliens or maybe to a creator, right?
Yeah. A channel.
This is how you know it's a good question.
So let's say like in a world. So like let's say if I'm going based off of my faith and what I understand about religion and God and like right, I'm a believer in the Bible. So let's say like in a future world where people are perfect, right? And we're like perfect humans, right? And God gets rid of like all the badness and wickedness, right? You become perfect humans. We're going to be able to tap in to so much that I think that we're going to be able to make AI look like a joke, right? So like in the future, right? I think we're going to be able to like tap into our brains like a perfect human brain. And I think that maybe some of the things like biotech will come into hand. Like we can actually use technology as an extension of ourselves, and like we're going to be the masterminds. Now, I see AI as like we're able to organize our thoughts correctly, but it's really hard to like pull everything out from there. So like I think AI is really great, but I still think that AI is lacking in a lot of ways. According to like what I believe like mankind will grow and eventually like will outgrow AI and continue to develop, right? And I guess maybe like in a scientific way, you could say evolution in a way, right? And I think we're going to continue to grow. I think we're going to use AI to grow in the future. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I think it's a
beautiful answer.
Yeah.
And transitions lovely into some thoughts about the future.
About the future,
I feel like if people had enough time on their hands, they could pursue things like that. They could pursue expansiveness and spirituality that our daily lives kind of don't allow us to do, because we've got to get these quarterly reports in, that kind of thing.
It's not only Elon, right? Elon, but with the what is it called?
Neuralink.
Yeah. Thank you. Neuralink. That is a good idea. That's a really good idea. I think.
That's bringing the technology.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and I think that like if you like put AI into my brain. I think like AI will not be. I think we'll like almost like kind of like combine and like. I think we'll beat AI in a way. But to me, Elon is trying to do with God, according to what I believe, says he's going to do, which is like, hey, I'm going to give you these crazy abilities and tap into all this here. And Elon's like, oh yeah, like we could kind of do that now. So, which is like really interesting. Like, I think what Elon doing
instead of sticking it right in my skull.
Yeah.
Take it off.
I think
that's enough of that.
I think that they need that hardwired integration.
It has to go in there.
Yeah, it's got to go in there. I think I maybe would. I think I would do it.
Yeah, you're gonna be one of the first.
No, I don't know about one of the first,
okay.
but
a friend of mine said, "I'm not going to be the first, but I won't be the last."
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
I think that it's interesting because you're talking about interfacing with this thing, right? But we do kind of interface with it now. It's crude. We talk to it. It's not quite the speed of thought. But to be able to connect with it at the as you think, I feel like we're closer than we think we are to that.
Okay, so we're talking about like human evolution, far future right now. So I'd like us to like zip back a little bit to like 2 to 5 years from now. What do you imagine is the landscape of the job market in the U.S.? We can stick there, and what are some solutions that you imagine might be useful in that near future vision?
So right now the job market, right? So like let's look at Amazon firing all those people recently. I think that a lot of those things are just the media trying trying to pull your leg, right? Mind control. You have to look at like, they're also probably going to hire a bunch of people too, right? And they're probably like reorging, and they're probably saying like it's all because of AI and automation. Whereas sometimes I think they're just saying that as a marketing tactic, right? Because you would want your competition to think that I'm further ahead with AI than they are, even though I'm not, and I'm really just reorging, and I'm really shaking off a bunch of people, and I'm going to rehire, I'm going to upskill people and rehire people who use AI, right? Who have this AI certificate and stuff like that on their resume. So that's what I think about like the actual like work itself. Like Elon, he tried automating everything with one of the factories or some of the factories, and then he said he underestimated humans. He underestimated humans and what they're able to do, and he says that was a mistake. He should have automated later. So that's more so about the work itself. I think that there needs to be integration. So like if I think there's, with AI to me, sometimes the issue seems with integrating everything. Like my calendar needs, like my email calendar and my, whatever else, like all my tools, sometimes I think there needs to be like really good integration, which I think Google has an edge there a little bit, but there needs to be like really good integration, right? So I think that's one thing about the work itself. Don't get me wrong. I think this is just my perspective. I'm like you. I want to like to learn from you guys. I feel like some people, they're not. I think most people are just kind of figuring out AI on their own and kind of playing with things. And I think people could take AI courses, but that course is probably going to be behind, right? So, right, and we all know that most courses are just like certificates are just for, just to have the, to look good, right? Boasting, and it's not indicative of actually the results you're getting and how you're using it and stuff like that. So I just want to say that about the work itself. Now with the job market, so I think that social media is going to play a much bigger role in attracting talent, people finding jobs. I think that people want to see your portfolio, they want to see your face, they want to see who you're connected with, they want to see your recommendations automatically. So I think that like LinkedIn or something like basically like that LinkedIn kind of social media thing will definitely play more of an important role. And like, because the biggest thing is you want visibility. And I think that there's too many people doing similar things. You got to really differentiate yourself, and that's, I think, social media comes into that. If that makes sense.
So you also had an idea about an app that might be, sort of expedite the job matching process, employees to potential employers. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think that as time goes on, I think that people are going to hire slower, right? They're going to hire slower, fire faster, right? And I think that, people are hiring slower, and I think that they really want like that human connection, right? Because imagine a resume versus like my blog or my video blog. You're like, wow, this is a real person. Like they're like a real person and they actually have the skills and it's not just on their resume. So I think that hiring will become kind of like a dating app. Like imagine if you as a job seeker could go and then like Google or whatever company had a video for you. And they're like, this is why you should join their company. And they had like a whole intro video. Like you'd be like, oh, cool. And then like meet Sally, who's been working here. And then like the hiring managers, like, this is what we're looking for, right? And then you're going to see that and you're like, wow, okay, like I'm seeing the person. I'm going to be more likely to apply there, right? And then they're going to be looking at you and they're going to be like, okay, like, do you have any content about what you've done? And I think they're going to be like looking for that content, like super quick. I think that content is gonna come at you quicker and quicker.
It's again, it moves more towards the person and what they have to offer versus like, here's this hard resume thing. Like,
Yeah, I love the idea of like individualizing with our own original content. But then the problem right now is if you go on LinkedIn, it's just ChatGPT slop. Everybody says the same motivational crap, and then, you know, so like how can we in the future maybe ensure that this original content is like value added and unique and creating new parts to the conversation and asking new questions, not just recycling the same old questions.
There is a lot of slop out there. There's a lot of trash out there. It's a lot of nonsense. I don't think people do it on purpose all the time. Some people just are not tech savvy. Some people are not social media savvy. So I think that people will start being more direct about like, hey, post this content, post this content, share this content. This is what we want to see. So let's say that it's like a job board. There's a list of software developers, and then let's say you pull up the software developers, and then instead of just seeing that resume, you know, you're going through them. You also see like their portfolio right there, right, and any other additional content they have, and then you see it like very like automatically. So like I think like it would be interesting like just to swipe up and then just be like, and then just go through like the portfolios or something like that, or it doesn't have to just be the portfolios but like the content, and then you just kind of like swipe up and you're like, oh, this stands out to me, something like that.
That seems so great. Like, can you imagine, you know, like if you're out and about and you're waiting in line at the post office and you can just swipe and apply to 20 jobs. Like, that just seems really convenient, right? And they also can look at employees that way or job seekers, is to be able to like have it all consolidated in that quick snapshot, you know, and not have to like click 3 times to get to their portfolio or to take a look at some of their other things.
Yeah, 100%, right? So to get through it faster, I think that the only thing I could think of is like the whole, like the gender and race thing, right? So like, let's say like, you know what I mean, they're prejudiced against whatever, then right, and then they obviously see someone who they're prejudiced against, whereas resumes, they kind of, right, get rid of that a little bit. So I think like that could be part of the issue. But then a lot of times recruiters are using LinkedIn anyway. A lot of times they could tell a lot about them anyway. So I think that could be a caveat there. But I think that people want more proof that you are who you say you are. I think people want more proof that you are who they say you are. And I think that the faster they could get that, and I think eventually, if they can get that proof up quick, faster, I think then I think they will. I think it will be more like a dating app because I mean, I do compare interviews to like dates, right? Because like you're trying to kind of like woo this person, but not in too direct of a way, right? You're not trying to look bad, you're trying to look good, but at the same time, you're trying to be yourself at the same time. It's like this, right? If you think about it, nowadays we have dating apps and you get the whole profile before you even go on a date. But the problem is, I think with LinkedIn, people are not really learning how to present themselves digitally. And I think that's one of the things that has maybe why that hasn't become the thing. People are doing videos. People are doing like the video, you just speak to the video, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like the, like, hey, we're gonna record you, here's your like question type thing. People do that. I would love to see the statistics on that. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure they're pretty bad. I'm pretty sure some of those people would probably do better face to face. And like, you know, like, oh man, if I require for them to have a blog, weight with at least this amount of whatever, right? Right? And then you're like, man, but what if someone's really bad at creating a blog, right? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that,
or if they're good at creating the blog and they get to the job and then you're like, why did I hire this guy? Like,
yeah, that is true, right? But it happens both ways. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens with or without the blog, right? So I think references, I think if you had a social media part, you can also incorporate references, right? Streamline it into it.
mm-hmm.
A little bit like Upwork.
Yeah, and I think LinkedIn is just, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Yeah.
The recommendations are all the way at the bottom of the
they're all the way at the
profile.
bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all the way at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I know, I mean, I have clients who are very well accomplished and they barely have any.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, so now you need to get them, but LinkedIn should almost make that a requirement for you to get 3 recommendations on your profile.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
And then when someone swipes, what if your recommendations pop right up?
Yeah.
And they said, this recommendation is a friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
He's this recommendation from a director at Google who also is a friend of a friend. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Talk about believing who are you who you say you are. I gave this this job I applied for my references, and I just gave them the phone numbers, and then they asked for the emails, and I'm like, well, of course I should have given them the emails because it's like give them a workplace email because so at least they know they work where I'm saying that they work.
Yeah,
you know, because I could just give them. But yeah, that's who you are. Are you who you say you are? That's an interesting point.
Check out this other idea. So imagine if you're only able to apply to a job if you're connected to that person. Or like imagine if like you have to have something in there has to be something like, right? So like, let's say like 1,000 people see a job, 500 want to apply. But they're only allowing like 100 to be able to apply because like those 100 people they actually follow the company's page. Or those 100 people are actually connected to someone at Google, right? Where you kind of almost force the recommendation. So, right? So it's just like they get recommended by that person by default almost, right? In that way, you know, so it's kind of like, right? Because as globalized, because part of the reason why I help people with job search is because things are so competitive with globalization and immigration and so many other things. So I think like, well, we don't need 1,000 applications. Let's just make it so like 100 of these people apply, and then we'll have some type of criteria, which I guess people do it now, but like I think you could integrate it into like the whole social media kind of thing, and then AI could give the hiring manager tips on verifying, you know what I mean? So the AI could be like, oh, this person is this and they're connected to this. I suggest that you reach out to this person about that. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they can almost even coach, they can assist the hiring manager, they can assist you. And you can kind of almost create this, I think future job search, I think the systems are tough right now, but I think things are going to change, especially as like generations change, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
old ways gotta give way to.
Yeah. Speaking of generations, what is Gen Z gonna do?
Well, so that's a good question. So okay, here's
bed and go on TikTok.
Besides that.
So what is Gen Z gonna do? So Gen Z is, I think, a lot of Gen Zs are have a lot of raw talent. I don't know about all the challenges, but I do know there's quite a few challenges in the workforce as far as like Gen Zs. I think another thing with the future of work, I think that people are going to kind of need to be better communicators. I think people are going to be more like the people who survive and the people who get hired are going to be more like manager roles, like you know, they actually have to like communicate with other people. Probably less just like individual contributors are just kind of like the quiet worker. I think that, you know, like if I was going to give someone like career advice, I'd be like, do something where you have to deal with people. I mean, even though you're not, I mean, of course, you know, even if you're not a people person, but I think like if I was a parent of a Gen Z, right? I had like a Gen Z little brother or something like that. I would be like, you know what? I think if you want to kind of future-proof yourself, I think you need to do something where you deal with people, where you need to get on meetings with people. You have to maybe run meetings. You have to communicate to someone. They're wondering like, man, like, what do I do because of all this AI stuff? Well, just do something where you got to talk to people. Like as a recruiter, I mean, AI can't, I mean, it'll be really hard for AI to duplicate what I do. Go to this person, talk to them. Go to that person, talk to them. Transfer the information, like communicate. Okay, this person said that. Be able to read the room, read what's behind the words, be able to articulate it in a human way in which it's understood, and then, you know what I mean? And then call them, right? Boom, talk to them, hang up the phone, call them, send the email, receive it, you know, and then switch between Indeed and my email, and then, and then trying to, I don't think, you know, being able to read in between a lot, like the resume. Recruiters use AI less than what people think. When I look at a resume, I may use AI, but I gotta have my eyes on that thing. Like I have to really I gotta really look at it, read it, go back and revisit it, use AI, then go back, okay, I see what AI is saying, and then compare to what I'm seeing on the resume, because I do use AI sometimes to summarize resumes. I think as recruiters, we use AI to for marketing, for writing the job posts. We use AI for writing emails to prospects, right, or potential people who we want to hire. So we're writing to write emails, to write text messages. I use AI to rewrite a resume, but I mean, I'm not using AI to call my manager. I'm not trusting AI to email my manager. I'm not trusting AI to email the company. I mean, some of the emails are really not that long. They're really not that long, but it involves a lot of human interaction, human communication, human proofing, right? Like proofreading and stuff. I was gonna tell someone, I'd be like, do something where you gotta deal with people. You gotta go straight to the people, and you gotta that would be my suggestion, especially for someone that's a Gen Z. Irreplaceable.